Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for taking some time for us today. I've got this kicked off just a minute or two ahead of schedule, so I will just fill the time with us together right now, and then we'll get kicked off right at the top of the hour. Think we always start this session with a little poll or a quiz. I'm just kind of curious out there. Does anybody have any good New Year's resolutions that they made? Mine was to eat a little healthier, and so far this year I've been eating smoothies for lunch, which I was really not sure how I would feel about that, but it's actually been pretty good. I always put some protein powder, some greens, some vegetables and fruit in there. And even though it's like, I was kind of just concerned about not eating solid food all day, but it actually is pretty filling. And I feel like I've got a lot of good quality energy. I don't even need my afternoon coffee anymore. So we'll see. Check back in 3 months. We'll see if I'm still sticking to the smoothies or if I've gone back to my ways of the Taco Bell and the quick sandwich. But so far, so good. I hope if anyone else out there has made some good New Year's resolutions, that those are working out for you so far too. So let's go ahead and get things kicked off. I'll start talking today just a little bit about MGT, who we are, what we do. We'll talk appetite so you understand where the opportunities to work together are. And then I will run through a quick demo of our platform so you know what to look out for there as well. So just starting at the top, MGT is something a little bit different. We like to say we're the world's first AI-powered neo insurer. And what does that even mean? Nobody really knows because that's how it is when you're the first at doing something. I would say to put it in context of the overall industry, you've got your traditional legacy insurance carriers. Those are the companies that have the commercials we all see on TV and hear on the radio. They're great at what they do. I mean, insurance companies have been protecting people's businesses and homes and property and lives since, 400 years ago. And so you got nothing negative to say about that. But many of them are at a scale where it's just difficult to impossible to actually move their operations and how they manage their books of business over to modern technology. And so often what that means is inefficient processes, experiences that are just not what people expect when they're working, on something as important as their insurance policy. A lot of, back and forth, a lot of unclarity and room for, confusion maybe. You also have in the ecosystem the insure techs that we've all heard so much about. These typically are MGAs, sometimes wholesalers, and they have figured out how to take a layer of technology and put it on top of that legacy experience. And, they often are very good at what they do. I like to say here we stand on the shoulders of giants, and that's very true. But, the thing with the insurtech model is because they typically are not underwriting the risks that they're quoting for you, then they really don't have that control of their own destiny. They've got to keep someone else happy, and a lot of times that means policyholders get caught in the middle. MGT is a little bit different. We are an actual carrier, so we're writing on our own paper. We carry the AM Best rating. It's our capital behind everything, and we stand behind the risks that we underwrite through our platform. That gives us a lot more control. It gives us a lot more ability to grow quickly, which is something you're going to see a lot this year, and I'll talk about some of those plans a little bit later as well. And ultimately, it just lets us deliver an experience that from starting a quote to policy bound, issued, and being serviced is just easy for everybody because we control the entire process from start to finish. So where does MGT shine? We do admitted BOPs for small businesses. All of our policies are written on ISO form. So what that means to you is those are the most legally tested forms on the market. Those are the forms that anytime a designation or a licensing test asks about coverage, they typically are basing that information on the ISO policies. That means you can feel comfortable when you're writing business with MGT that if there ever is a claim or a situation that, has led to a loss, that policy will respond the way you expect it to. We're not going to put you in a lurch or, come out and say, oh, we had this crazy exclusion on there that nobody knew about. Just not the way we do business here. Um, all submissions go in through our online platform, so you'll never have to look at accords. We're not going to get a couple pieces of information and then come back to you and say, hey, can you fill out this 45-page supplemental application? There's no 3-day, 3-week long back and forths with an underwriter to firm up terms or firm up appetite where you have to jump through 10 different hoops every day. We are really focused on making things easy and fast. And so my favorite statistic to share is that over 80% of our policies go from logging in to start the quote to bound and issued in 10 minutes or less. That gives you back more time in your day. As far as appetite goes, we're focused on small businesses. To us, that means up to 3 million in revenues for most risks. For office risks, we do write up to 5 million in revenues. We'll write up to 2 million total insured value in property per location with up to 4 locations per policy. We'll write companies that have 0 to 100 employees. We'll write new ventures, businesses that have had previous claims, coverage lapses, no prior coverage can all be acceptable. So a lot of times I think people start to hear about us, the way we do business, the kind of risks we take. They get this thought, this misconception that we're only looking for the most perfect, beautiful, clean, easy, in the box kind of risks that they'll ever see. We love those. Send those our way for sure. But that's not all that we'll accept either. We do have the ability to be a little creative when we need to as well. So let me go ahead now. I'll share my screen. We'll run through a quick tour of the website and a quick demo of the platform too. So I've got this pulled up to mgtinsurance.com. This is where everything starts, and this is where I like to start just to highlight this BOP Appetite tab. This is a great resource for you. If you're scrolling along with us at home, please feel free to bookmark this while you're here. This is the best way to stay in touch with our appetite because it is going to be constantly growing and expanding this year. And so I can absolutely and will happily send you out some appetite guide PDFs. But 3 weeks from now, those are going to be out of date. And if you bookmark this page, you'll always have at your fingertips the most up-to-date information about our appetite. And you can also use our AI appetite assistant, Amy, to help you with those quick appetite questions that come up. So you could say something like, do you write sandwich shops in Philadelphia? Now, Amy is pretty smart. She's going to know that sandwich shops are a type of deli. She's going to know that Philadelphia is more than likely Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and that MGT can write business in Pennsylvania. And so she'll give you some guidance pretty quick as far as what class codes to use and just let you know, hey, this one's going to be worth giving us a shot on. So always like to recommend this. Great way to save yourself some time. And then once you have a risk that's in appetite and you're ready to quote, get the platform fired up. Now, this is where things are going to get a little interesting. For some of you looking at this at home or in your offices, probably, you will notice that it's going to look different for you than what I'm showing you. What most of our users are still accessing is the old version of our online platform. And right now we're in the process of migrating everybody over from the old version to the new version. Since this is really intended to be a guide on how you get started with MGT, I think it makes more sense to show you the new version than the old version that is not really going to be in use in the next few months. So it might look a little bit different if you're going along at home, but it should be overall like a relatively similar process. But you will definitely see why we're making the switch and why this is, something we're really excited about. Um, Along the way, if you have any questions, if you're working on a quote and you want to talk something through, always please feel welcome to reach out. I'll share my contact info here towards the end of this as well. And so to get started, first thing we'll do is type in a business name. Now, you can please feel welcome to use the chat function. The bottom of your screen should be probably right around here. And if you have a favorite restaurant, somewhere you like to go to for lunch, favorite beauty parlor, barbershop, nail salon, maybe a retail space in your area, shout that out in the chat, and we will use that to run our quote, so you can see how cool this is on a business that is maybe relevant to you. So, give you all a minute to think of something. Don't be shy though. Please feel welcome to shout it out. I've been doing these demos for a long time. One of the like kind of rules you never break when you're doing one of these is you never go off script. But I am just so confident in this technology that I am willing to go off script here a little bit and show you how cool it is. So let me go ahead and I will do one that's near me. It's a great little Mexican place called Plaza Azteca. You can see here there's a bunch of them. So I start typing that in, it's going to find those businesses that are in my neighborhood. So if you're going through this as well, you might see some different ones that are closer to you coming up. But this is really, really neat. So we'll go ahead and select this one. We'll click continue. And what is happening now is we've selected the business that we're going to quote. Behind the scenes, we have got some really impressive technology that's actually looking up somewhere around 3,900 data points on this business. Um, all of those data points are populated from sources where we have at least a 90% confidence level that those are accurate. So as we go through this, a lot of the questions will be pre-filled. I like to say trust but verify. Make sure that, it makes sense. You might have different numbers. Nobody knows the risk better than you. So don't feel like you're locked in to our numbers. We set this up this way to make things easy for you, to make things a little bit more streamlined so you don't have to spend as much time and attention just doing data entry. But still a good idea to make sure everything's accurate and correct so that the quote you get at the end is something that you can stand behind. Now, I am working on this in our demo system, so it's a little bit slower than what you'll experience when you're working on one of these yourself. But we're already ready to get started. So first couple questions are pretty straightforward, pretty standard. Do we have any claims and do we need to add any building coverage? We'll go ahead and say no for both of those and click continue. The platform is actually able to research that business and find its type of classification and pre-fill that. But, if it's getting it wrong, you can definitely click into that box, scroll through. You can type in here to help guide you. But this is actually right on for Plaza Azteca. So we're going to click continue. We're pre-filling some of these other questions. Now, as far as cooking at customer tables, I can say because I go to this place sometimes, that's not the case. They do have a like guacamole bowl that they'll bring to you and make like fresh guacamole. So maybe it found that, but that's not really cooking. Um, we'll say that looks right on. It's definitely not in a hotel or an apartment. So, we made one little change, but still we can click through this and breeze right on by. It's finding the year it was established, the type of business. It knows it's not a home-based business. I'm going to go ahead and update this number of employees to 10, and then we'll click continue here. It's finding the gross annual sales. That looks pretty good. It's a pretty busy restaurant. So we'll click continue. And now, when we get to this page, you'll see this little kind of magic box here is highlighted. And again, it's doing some more research on that property to help find some of the details we need to know to make sure we're rating it correctly and we're comfortable with the risk and all that good stuff. Um, it's got that locked in. If we needed to add any additional insureds, we could do that this page, and then we'll click continue again. And again, it's doing some research on that building. It's pretty cool. We actually have the ability to like find that space in Google Maps and trace out its outline and use that to calculate the square footage. It could do things like find the construction type. Um, it can find if it's equipped with automatic sprinklers. And so this is going to do a lot of the just kind of like data entry, research type stuff for us. And, I know a lot of times when you're working on a quote, like that business owner might not know exactly what their square footage is, or, they might not know what the difference between joisted masonry and frame construction are. And, who can blame them? It's not their job. So we're going to find a lot of that information. And if you're not able to get complete info from the business owner, you could still get a bindable quote back with us. So I'm going to run this just the way it comes out, contents only with business personal property, about 6,600 square feet, joisted masonry with the automatic sprinklers. Let's click continue. In this page, we could add any additional locations if we needed to do that. In this case, we've just got the one, so we'll continue here. We can opt out of TRIA, but I like to keep that on. It's just a small expense, and if you ever need it, you'll be thankful you've got it. And now we're loading the quote. So we've asked all of the underwriting and rate bearing questions. This will either quote, refer, or decline. In this case, it quoted for us. And so we can continue to bind here, which I'll show you in just a second. In the rest of this page, I'm sure this looks pretty familiar to everybody on the call. This is where we can set all of our limits, all of our deductibles. We can add in optional coverages and adjust those limits if we need to. So what we like to do here is we give you kind of the default like ISO BOP. It's great coverage for everybody, but every risk is a little bit different. And again, nobody knows that risk better than you do. So if you need to make any updates or changes to it, kind of tailor that policy to that specific business, you can do that in this page as well. From here, once we're ready to go, we'll click continue to bind. And then in this case, we'll put in the policyholder's first name and last name. I'm just going to do Dan Demos, my alter ego. I'll put in my phone number here, and then Dan 1726 at mgtinsurance.com. Confirm and send. And so what this is going to do is it's actually going to send a payment link to the policyholder or potential policyholder at this point. If they don't receive that, you have the ability to copy that link right here. And then also in this page, it's going to show you along the way where they are in that process. So let me go ahead. I'll open this up in another page. And this is what it's going to look like for a potential policyholder as they go to make payment. We support annual, quarterly, and monthly payments. If you're using the old platform, it actually is connected to a different payment vendor who only supports annual and quarterly payments. So we're really excited to be able to offer monthly payments in the new platform too. Let's do an annual payment. We'll click continue. And then we'll be able to e-sign all of the documents here. So it's just loading everything up. This is usually pretty quick as well. And so we'll draw the signature, give it my John Hancock, and accept that. And then I like to just do a nice big smiley face for my initials. That's what your policyholder is going to look like when they do this. We'll accept that, consent, and then little secret trick here, just click sign all. And we have signed all those documents together. So everything is going to be available for you to download. So you have these saved for your records as well. And they'll always be available for you in our platform too, in case you ever need to go back and cross-reference something. That's just the demo system. So from here, it would be pretty straightforward. You just put in the payment information. We accept ACH and card payments. And then once all that's in, the account will be bound as soon as payment goes through. You'll see on this page, this is going to update now. The insured has initiated payment, signed applications and documents. That's where we're at. And now all that's left is policy issuance. That actually doesn't happen in the demo platform because there does need to be someone who reviews it and gives it the thumbs up. But this is typically going to be super quick and usually happen within about 90 seconds for you. And then you can see here all those documents are available. We've got all the important contact info available too, so you can make sure everything was entered correctly there. And, I think this always takes a little bit longer with me narrating along the way. Luckily for you all, that is not a feature that's built into the new platform, but in about 11 minutes, we went from logging in and starting the quote to policy bound and issued. So pretty nifty. And I honestly think that once you get a couple of these under your belt and you don't have me jibber jabbering along the way, you'll be able to bind a policy with us in probably 3 to 5 minutes. So, for anyone who's watching out there, if one of your New Year's resolutions was to work less efficiently, spend more time quoting and less time selling, I'm sorry, this may be not the product for you. But if your New Year's resolutions included things like spend more time with the family, find a new hobby, spend more time working out, spend time eating better, that is really what we want to do is give you time back in your day to do all those other important things that come your way without having to make the trade-off of not doing the best you can in your business. We're not saying change your business. We're not saying go after, new types of customers, do things that are just completely, foreign or just, totally like out of your wheelhouse. But if you're already working with commercial insureds and policyholders, why spend more time on it than you need to? Just work with MGT, knock them right out, spend more time in your day doing everything else that you love to do. So if anyone has any questions, please feel welcome to use that chat feature. I'm happy to answer any questions you've got. And then I'm going to share my contact info with you as well. Please save this, keep it handy. If you ever have any questions, want to talk shop, always, always, always feel welcome to reach out. You have a whole team here to support you. I'm proud to be part of that team, and I'm here to help if you ever need anything. I'll give it a couple minutes in case anybody else has any questions. For everyone else, though, thank you so much for taking some time for us. Um, Jessica, I love that comment. You're not the only one, but I do appreciate that very much. I look forward to working with you. I have done these where the audience is just me before, so I extra appreciate everybody showing up. You all are the gold star students in my book, and if you ever need a favor, just let me know you attended this webinar, and I'll be happy to do what I can to help out. Oh, Yolanda had a great question. Is the quoting questionnaire available for download in PDF? It is really not, and the reason is that it's dynamic. So the platform is going to show you different questions based on the class of business. But I would suggest, just have that page open if you're talking to somebody. If you have any other applications that you like to use, like kind of generalized applications, more than likely they'll get all the information we're asking for and then some. But if you just have our quoting platform open while you're having those conversations, I think it's a really good layout to just kind of go through like step by step and, get all those questions answered. Jessica, I absolutely have time. Hit me. So that's a great question. A little bit of inside baseball here. So the daycare facilities was actually, it is something that we do in partnership with Church Mutual. They actually control the underwriting and appointments for that business. So I'm more focused on our like kind of small business BOP product. I believe that they are not currently writing new business. But if that ever changes, you will absolutely be one of the first to know. That's a great question. All right. Thank you all for these questions. These are really great. I appreciate you again for taking the time to join us today. If you enjoyed the show, please jump in, run some quotes. Let me know I did a good job. If you have any questions, please always feel welcome to reach out. I'm going to give you back about 5 minutes in your day, so use those to do something fun. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Have a great afternoon. Happy New Year to you, and look forward to working together. Thanks for working with MGT.